He does work. He did say so too. So this is just more and more. This is what happened this weekend. More people started spotting cyber cabs all over Austin. Cyber Owl, by the way, Rima, people might remember when I did my live stream in June 22nd, the very first Robotaxi ride ever. Rima, when we parked, she was the person that we met, and she had followed us. Anyways, here she is in Austin, Tesla Cybercab in full-fledged testing mode, already pretending pickups and drop-offs in neighborhoods of Austin. So she was able to videotape this Cybercab driving around. Yes, there is a human inside. This one particularly does not have oh, yeah, the side mirrors is not here. Wait, how could he be driving around if there's no side mirror? I guess, yeah, no, that's legal. Yeah, you can just pull it off at the end. It's your call. So there you go. That's a beautiful photo. And then another shot, she was everywhere. She was not the only one. Lots of other people were showing these videos. So I'll play these videos while you talk about it. What do you think?
We're going to see more and more of these as they approach pilot production. Pilot's essentially the start of production. Those units are typically shippable, and it's typically you just flip over to the start of production. And so you're going to see more and more of these road testing in various cities. They're going to be looking at a number of different things. How does it do in different temperatures? How does the finishes hold up with salt? How does it clean? What's happening when it goes through car washes? Any breakage at this point, this is the other thing. Any hardware breakage at this point is kind of a code red type issue, because if you look at the denominator, if you look at the number of cars, it's not a lot of cars. So if you have any kind of hardware malfunction, that's immediate data going up back to engineering and getting the car over to engineering, quite frankly, or engineering to the car as soon as possible to analyze it.
Is this just cybercabs? We saw them in Chicago. We saw them all over. We saw them in Alaska. That's of normal vehicle testing. But having a lot of them in Austin, isn't it a little bit more of a little signal that maybe this is it? This is where they're going to launch first. They want to be able to test not only it's a viable product, viable vehicle, but that it's maybe starting to test FSD too.
Well, yeah, and they're made in Austin, and I can see that being the first launch city. I can see Austin being the first city for unsupervised. So we already have unsupervised with the Robotaxi, but also unsupervised with personal use vehicles. I can see that happening as well. So yeah, we're just getting to that point where we're approaching start of production. They want to make sure there's no issues with these vehicles from a hardware perspective, and of course they're getting the software right too, because now you've got now you've got to be able to raise the doors, lower the doors, know when the doors should stop, know when there's different forces being placed on the door, know when to capture data from the vehicle. So there's all kinds of things they're doing from a hardware and software projection perspective to converge on the final design.
Take a look. Talking about doors, take a look at this. This is the first time that we saw Cybercab fully opening and closing in the wild. Thank you, Art's image. I think it came from this person. I think they slowed it down. Yeah. Okay. Epic music. So is he pressing? Yeah. That's the same thing that Elon did. He pressed just like the Cybercab, right? There's a certain place you press.
Yeah. This is very interesting to me from an engineering and manufacturing perspective. And I saw one of the requisitions about kind of final tuning, fit and finish as these things are going out the door. In any kind of manufacturing process, what you try to do from day one is you try to get your tolerances understood. You try to get, both from a design perspective, and you try to understand any issues that those individual parts are going to have with other parts, is kind of what I'm trying to get to. So this whole assembly is going to be very interesting, what the gaps look like, what the fit looks like. Is there any kind of tolerance analysis stack? Is there any scenario where the door doesn't close? Is there any scenario where the door doesn't open? Again, from a tolerance perspective, think temperatures, think vibration, think any kind of mechanical movement. And then just think about, okay, where are the manual releases at in case the car's in an accident? So there's all kinds of things to think about with these doors. I also think about, okay, what if they're dinged up and you replace one? How do you get the color lot right with the other panels of the car? Because this isn't, again, you don't externally paint this. This is reaction injection molded. These aren't painted. So this is going to be the whole, there's so many things here that are fascinating to me from a manufacturing perspective. And they had to take the risk. The risk allows them to take the cost structure down, but maintain the consumer and user quality of the product. It's value engineering, but it's really way up front value engineering, quite frankly, value industrial design by Franz's team. But there's so many questions I have about if I could have, some time with the team to just chat through it. There's just so many questions I have. My guess is this is one of the reasons that it's taken a couple of years to get something like this into production, because they have to think through these things and solve them. But the door makes the whole thing iconic. The door, people see the car on the road are like, oh, this thing looks weird or whatever, because it's new to people. The color's even kind of new. You don't see many gold cars. So the color's new. I think the color's on point, by the way. And then this door, when this thing opens up, it pulls up to a curve and these doors open. It's going to be very iconic. To me, it reminds me a bit of how iconic the Razor phone was. And we had in our commercials, we had it opened at different angles.
Yes.
And you had this sleek looking metallic thing. And this is not metallic on the outside. It is the inner frame is certainly metallic. But anyway, it's very iconic.
Yeah, good point. Look at the door here. You can actually see that it's not, there's a fit and finish here. See the way it's connected there? It's a little off.
Yeah.
Surprisingly that they did do this model, but it's going to be self-presenting, right? You should open it on its own. I think that's where the eventual plan would be. This is crazy. This is it. This reality is here. This this car that was said that was never going to come to fruition. That you can see that there's making many of them at this point. Okay, back to Robotaxi in Austin. More and more people are able to get a ride. He tried to get in the driver's seat, he said, tried hitting the pullover button, tried everything. Unleashed the Robotaxis. Well done, team. I don't know. When he said, I tried to, does that mean he couldn't get in to the driver's seat? I want to turn out the music or the sound. Let's see.
This was a very interesting video.
What happened?
Because it pulls into this, this is Terry Black's parking lot, looks like. And that's not the easiest parking lot to navigate if you've ever been there. And this gentleman tried a lot of different things to kind of trip it up. And it did. And he wasn't being malicious. He wasn't doing anything. He was just trying to do the things that a consumer may try to do. And no dice. It held up very well and it performed very well.
So if you try to open the front, he's doing it now. What happens? You can't get in the front door.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's locked. Yeah.
And there's messages if you start, messing with the steering wheel, say, hey, I'm going to just pull the car over. So anyway, this is really coming together nicely. This is a very smooth ride. Again, this kind of goes back to, what you're seeing on X. This is a 24/7 kind of thing where we're in this world, we're watching this stuff and everybody's like, oh my God, they tried hailing, 40 robotaxis. They didn't get one. And, whatever. There's something for every day that, Tesla could have taken their robotaxis down for a day. We had the weather incidents the prior week. The point is they're making quite substantial progress with this and the total number of robotaxis on the road.
We are on our way. This is, first it was only one. I couldn't find any. Now it's okay, 3. Oh, there's only just 3 people that are allowed to try it. No, it's like many more people, as we've been saying. They're going to slowly do it. but it's happening. You got Ashok Saraswamy saying, try it out if you're in Austin. So he's confident that he's not just one person, one car, there's going to be more and more of this available.
And that's
So this
by
is
the way,
what's
when he
happening.
posts that means they're out there, they're
Hmm.
approved, and they're just
Hmm.
incrementally growing them every day is what that when that kind of message comes out.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. So this is surprising. In just a couple of days, 13 more vehicles. And again, we know that Robotaxi tracker does a great job. If somebody spots a license plate, they report it to them and they add it in there. It's not going to be accurate, but it's some way for us to know how many did they really add. Could be 13, could be way more, could be much less, who knows, but at least 13 that they hadn't recognized before. So here's where they're at. In just a couple of days, it just keeps growing. So now we have Austin, 81 in Austin, 187 in Bay Area. So in the
Yeah, if it's
past,
looking for unique plates, it's not gonna be less than this. Yeah.
right. Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean 81 though, remember you can see here it was like stuck at 30 for so long and now boom. Now is this going to keep going? We'll see. But yeah, no more likely. So now
Yeah.
there's 269. Again,
I
the
quote
goal would
posted
be to
this.
hit. You did?
I quote posted because it's a 5%. It's 5% day over day. That's big.
Mm.
That's huge growth. If you just extrapolate that out, that would be enormous. So it looks like February is off to the races. I think
Yeah.
I I believe that they've uncorked part of this, and this could be a much bigger number, 500, 600, or more in February. And then if Elon, if they hold the schedule with what Elon said on the earnings call, then doubling every month. I like to think that his projections like that, at least near term, can be accurate based on the data they have in front of them.
Mm. Hope that's right. So, a reminder to everybody, they reported this at the earnings call last week. 7 cities, Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and Las Vegas, all planned to be launched by the first half of 2026. That's by July. So, literally February to July. So, it's not that long. They are, and they're ramping on supervised. It is happening, and this is the plan. Okay, so around the world, FSC supervised. We keep reporting this. I mean, I don't know how many cities now, how many countries now. This is in Israel. Autonomous driving, Ministry of Transportation approved Tesla. It's a trial, but the company's vehicles will drive on roads with FSC supervised. The trial represents a significant part of Minister Miri Regev's work plan to strengthen Israel's position forefront of development, testing, and deploy advanced vehicle. This is every country wants to be at the forefront of technology. If they feel like it's on its way, they're going to adopt it. I honestly think it's more countries will raise their hand, says, do it here, than the countries who will say, it's got to, regulation, regulation. There will be many that will stop it, but many that will allow it. Tesla to begin autonomous driving trial in Israel. Uh, we knew that this
Yeah.
was coming.
Yeah, and I think Mobileye is based in
Oh,
Israel.
yeah.
Israel is very tech forward, very tech heavy, and this is great to see. And this is another. So I think we have Australia, we have South Korea, we have obviously all of North America, and I believe Sweden was just approved at least for some trials. So and this sounds like this is approved for some length of trials. So it it's happening. And this is the thing that Elon said he's not been able to predict well is just this regulatory approval. Each one of these countries has their own, morass you've got to step through. This is a big deal. Remember, these are 2.5 ton machines, driving all over the streets. You can't just let anything through. But I'm hoping there's a way to group these in some way so a series of countries can be approved. That'll really start driving that FSD subscription number up
Mm-hmm.
too.